Birds are very active and chatty today. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Wacky, Harrisonville, Missouri. We're going to be doing a little dive into this for anybody that's new. We are looking at his story with a new pair of eyes and not taking everything that we are being told as gospel. Also, wherever we can, or whenever we can, we try to make a little bit of light out of their ridiculous stories. But let's get started. And look who decided to join us today. Harrisonville is a city in Cass County, Missouri, United States. The population was 10,121 at the 2020 census. It is the county seat of Cass County. It is part of the Kansas City metropolitan area. Harrisonville was founded in 1837 upon land donated to Cass County by Congress for county purposes, and was named for Congressman Albert G. Harrison, who was instrumental in obtaining the land grant. The area suffered greatly during the American Civil Theater, though Harrisonville was one of the few places exempted in Union General Thomas Ewing's General Number 11, 1863, which ordered the depopulation of 3 entire Missouri counties and part of a 4th. So what are we talking about here? A depopulation order? General Order Number 11 is the title of a Union Army directive issued during the American Civil Theater on August 25, 1863, forcing the abandonment of rural areas in 4 counties in western Missouri. The order, issued by Union General Thomas Ewing, Jr., affected all rural residents regardless of their alliance. So Harrisonville was founded, and somehow founded by the Congress and then donated to Cass County. Is that what they're saying? And then they named it after a lizard congressman, I'm sure. Albert Harrison was a 3-term United States representative from Missouri and a slaveholder. From 1835 to 1839, he served 2 terms in Congress. And what's going on with the depopulation over here of 4 counties? Are we talking about deleting people or what? They didn't really elaborate. I guess I could look into it. We're going to continue for now. Oh, here we go, We jump from 1837 to 1972. In 1972, Harrisonville was the site of escalating tensions between a handful of mostly Vietnam veterans and town elders, which culminated in a brief rampage by 25-year-old. What are we going on to talk about here? Nothing that has anything to do with the history of Harrisonville, Missouri. I can tell you that much. And I was not expecting it to take such a turn here. So it looks like we're going to have to do a little more investigating. Just a reminder, I like to kind of keep these things improvised so I don't do a whole lot of research beforehand. We're going to check out what the brainless artificial intelligence has to say about Harrisonville, Missouri. It was settled in the 1830s by pioneers, becoming the county seat of Van Buren County before it was renamed Cass County in 1849. The area attracted settlers with its fertile land and waterways. And the current Cass County Courthouse, a prominent historic building, was completed in 1897. And as one of my subscribers mentioned in the comments, that courthouse is a 2-year build. 1830, the town was established as settlers moved from Kentucky, Tennessee, and Virginia to the region. It became the county seat of Van Buren County. 1849, the county was renamed Cass County, likely in honor of Lewis Cass, a prominent U.S. senator, once again naming things after lizards. And the Cass County Courthouse, the striking courthouse in the center of the historic square, was finished in 1897 and stands as a testament to the town's history. It is the third courthouse built to serve the county. I don't know about you guys, but it's my opinion that, nobody in their right freaking mind is going to make a courthouse the focal point of a town intentionally. I believe that this building has been repurposed as such. Small town charm. The historic downtown area with buildings featuring fire escape balconies contributes to Harrisonville's small town atmosphere. The area around the courthouse is known as Harrisonville Square and is a focal point of the community. Let's see what the deep dive artificial lack of intelligence here has to say further. They go on to talk about this General Order Number 11, Successionists. Prior to the Civil Theater, Harrisonville was a center for Successionist sympathizers, reflecting the Southern heritage of many settlers. In April 1861, a meeting at the courthouse was dominated by Successionists, and a pro-Union minister was threatened and forced to flee. Federal occupation. Union troops occupied Harrisonville in July 1861, and it remained a Union military post for the rest of the war. Here we go. Let's see if I can get you scroll down here. Depopulation and burning. In August 1863, Union General Thomas Ewing issued his infamous General Order Number 11, which ordered the depopulation of Cass and 3 other border counties to eliminate support for the Confederate guerrillas. While Harrisonville itself was one of the few places exempted, the surrounding county was largely emptied and most of its buildings were burned. The town was a Union stronghold during this period and offered some protection for loyal families. A monument dedicated to the victims of this period stands in Harrisonville. And I did not come across this narrative monument while I was there. Of course, my main focus being the old world structures. Post-Civil Theater, Recovery and Growth. Recovery and reinvestment. Harrisonville experienced little growth in the immediate aftermath of the war's repopulation, and reinvestment in the community didn't begin until the 1880s. So here we are, the federales came down and depopulated 3 counties, and they were not repopulated until around the 1880s. Railroad and agriculture. The arrival of the Kansas City and Southern Railroad in 1885 helped the town leverage its agricultural resources and reposition itself in the regional economy. And then here we are, jumping from 1885 to 1994. The Harrisonville Courthouse Square Historic District was added to the National Register of Historic Places. The district includes dozens of buildings surrounding the courthouse. And that lovely gentleman that talked to me for a short time did tell me that most of those structures that we looked at are in the National Register of Historic Places. Then we jump down to what they're referring to as the GUNN City Massacre in 1872. The area was the scene of a mob deleting of 3 men involved in a railroad bond scandal. The incident was part of the turmoil caused by corrupt railroad construction funding. I wonder if anybody ever got swindled into investing in infrastructure that was already existing. Wouldn't that be interesting? Historic preservation. After a period of disinvestment in the downtown, restoration efforts began in the 1980s. A local philanthropist purchased many of the square's buildings. I have a hard time with that word. And a historic preservation commission was established in 1993. And courthouse pewing. This goes back to the disgruntled theater veteran, 1972, who deleted a few public servants and a civilian in the town square before succumbing to his own deletion. It's also important to note, and they've got it down here in some fine print, AI can make mistakes, so double check responses. Just like a human, making mistakes. Except they did do us a favor up top here and highlighted the fact that this place was founded. Alright, I'm going to jump out of the AI here. What else do we got? Looks like we're going to find the same information everywhere we go. Let's just do a quick little search on this courthouse here to verify the 2-year build date. And I might look for a few older photos and we're going to wrap this up. Alright, so this is what I'm finding here. The current Cass County Courthouse in Harrisonville, Missouri was built in 1897, replacing a previous courthouse destroyed during the Civil Theater. The clock tower was added to the building in 1909. Original construction. The main structure was built in 1897, with construction completed that year and court sessions beginning in November 1897. So the artificial intelligence here is telling us that this is a 1-year build. So, and I'll do a little more digging, but if Mr. D. Ward, one of my wonderful subscribers, could tell me where he found the 2-year build date, I would appreciate it. Hop, skip, and a jump over to the DuckDuckGo here, and they are saying that the Harrisonville Courthouse was designed in 1895 and completed in 1897. So that might answer the 2-year build date question. And as far as this clock tower being added, I think that's just absurd. I mean, this thing looks to be designed and constructed as it was intended. But that's just my opinion. And this older photo of the courthouse here is the first thing that popped up. We're going to check this out. Looks like I can get it blown up to a decent size. This is on the Parks and Travel magazine. But before we do, and I didn't see any info, but judging by the automobiles, and I don't know my older automobiles that great, but I'm thinking maybe the 30s? 30s or 40s? This little monument up here, you know, the one they had was dedicated to the WW veterans. It's hard to see. I guess that could be the same one. I'm not seeing the same helmet. No spiral staircase in this photo. Obviously added later. Which I'll have to go back and look at that, but I'm guessing they turned this window into a door. Obviously. And everything looking pretty much the same. I'm scrolling along, looking for some old photographs of Harrisonville, Missouri, and I stumble across one of these historic homes that I did see while I was there. However, I did not film it. I'm on this Old House Dreams website here with the ridiculous ads everywhere, ruining everything. A complete disservice. But we're going to ignore those ads and scroll on down here to this beautiful home. I really wanted to film this. There were people about. And, you know, it didn't have a historic sign in front of it. So I wouldn't have had much of an excuse other than it's really beautiful. at the detail in this woodwork and the tech up here still. I've already tried to zoom in. I can't get any closer than this. Just wanted to show you this really fast. It's awesome. Get a few views of the interior. Pretty incredible. Piano to match. Seeing some old world symbolism here on this front door glass. What's this here on the door? Is that a bell? Looks really interesting. Look how small the furniture looks in this place. Crazy. Obviously the baseboards in these older homes are always super tall. The ceilings are tall, the windows are tall, the doorways are tall. Not sure what's going on with the so-called fireplace there. Looks like it's had some work done to it. But anyways, and we're gonna move on. Wow. That is an interesting bathroom up here, like an attic loft. There's a back view of the house. And of course, it wouldn't be complete without a detached garage with a suicide door. There's the exit. Have a nice trip. Coming back to this photo for just a second here. You know, they say that this bell tower was added later on. I can almost picture this thing having two towers. Maybe they removed a tower. I don't know. But as far as adding a tower, you know, assuming this photo is, you know, in the 30s, the 40s, or the 50s maybe. We're talking about less than 50 years. And everything on this structure looks to be pretty worn or weathered pretty evenly, in my opinion, but nothing looking newer than anything else. Here we have an artist depiction and postcard from 1914. And as we see quite often, the artist thought it necessary to put some happy little trees in here to cover part of this structure. Why? I still have not figured it out. But other than that, 1914, we're looking pretty much the same. I believe they said that the tower was added in 1909. As somebody that dabbles just a tiny bit in the art world, although I would never claim to be an artist, mainly doing it for entertainment value and a little bit of self-meditating. But you would never obstruct the view of your subject, which in this case, the subject being the Cass County Courthouse. There's an older photo of Harrisonville here, but unfortunately when I click on it, it is completely pixelated beyond recognition. Most of them seeming to be a picture of a picture posted on a social media site, and very, after it gets passed down so many times through different channels, the quality diminishes. Harrison County, Missouri, not really sure what that is. And looks like the only thing we're going to find here really is a 19 or circa, we'll just say 1940s photo of the courthouse. Decided to jump over to the DuckDuckGo and see what I couldn't find here. Stumbled upon this Harrisonville, Missouri high school building from 1910. And look at this thing. Not looking like a high school that I've ever seen, but here we go. We got stacks all the way around and a tower, arched windows, several steps up to the front door, buried windows, like a little addition back here in white underneath what looks like a fire escape, possibly. And not much information on here as far as whether or not this structure is still standing. Thought I might do a quick search to see if this structure is still existing, and I stumbled upon a postcard. And what do we have going on here again? With the flippin' trees over here. Give me a break. And I'm unable to find any further information on the high school. There's another view of the courthouse and an actual photo with trees in front of it. So, maybe the artist was depicting precisely what he was seeing. But it still seems stupid to me. It would appear as though our search for old photos has hit a wall. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. I appreciate everybody's time, and thank you very much for watching.